Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is an analysis of Game 1 of NP vs Wings. Wings is considered by almost everyone as a team that has it all: amazing players, well-thought drafts, unity, and the ability to innovate. Touching on the draft a little bit, this is definitely one of the coolest things I have ever seen. If I'm not mistaken, Alliance was the team that got known by using Venomancer, Shadowfiend, and Roshan to get early souls on the hero. While that works, if you're on the Radiant side, it is way harder to pull off, and at the same time it takes a decent amount of time to do it. I have never seen this done with Clockwork, but I really like it. I'm not sure if NP had played against this strategy coming from Wings before, but they played it pretty well, ganking Shadowfiend right away to make it harder for him to completely dominate the lane and snowball against Mirana, since she has very low base damage. NP's strategy this game is very smart, and it makes you wonder why Treant was so ignored during TI6. What NP wanted this game is to push early, using all the momentum that Draw Aura gives in the early game, while at the same time protecting all of their tier 1s. Usually, even against draw lineups, you can make trades, and the early tower gold advantage that the draw team gets is not that impressive. That changes though if they can keep their towers up artificially, and thus the net worth difference between the teams can get pretty big. Wings lineup is not the best to take towers early on, at least when they are separated, and that allows NP to profit on that. If they had more push, Treant wouldn't be so useful, because they would be able to take the tower in one go. And when they try to group up bot and use the healing ward and sustain from Warlock to take it, NP engages. Even if they don't win the fights, securing map control is what matters for them.
And he's sitting invis behind this push of Wings. They've got both their supports as well as Shadow. Shadow very farm, top net worth of the game so far, and he has his Omni Slash ready to go. But when Instant separates himself from the two of them, he becomes potentially easy pickings for the Batrider. Does what damage he can, but the healing ward is now coming in. As long as reinforcements are here, MSS can't go for this kill, and Innocence will stay alive. MSS caught by a small stun. They do have the Omni Slash. They're going to go for it over the cliff, into the trees, and they've got him.
Wings reads NP pretty well. After taking the tier 1 bottom, NP smokes towards the mid lane and Clock breaks the smoke and engages. AUI makes a pretty good move. He disengages after Moonlight Shadow, but TPs back to their tier 1 tower.
Napalm would show this one, but oh, what a hook shot. Managed to get the Cogs into two. Shadow's looking to be able to follow this one up, but a Cogs acts as a natural barrier. He can't quite get there for the spin damage. And now the Moonlight Shadow will allow NP to be able to retreat. They're actually going to go and pick up Phase Beyond, see if they can get this quick kill, pull into the...
Not only that, but NP lures Wings to fight at nighttime, close to an area where they have an observer ward, while also being where AUI TP'd to. Check how he lands a beautiful gust without Wings having no clue to what's happening. Envy dies, but that's a small price to pay.
HP looks at the Omni Slash, doesn't throw it out just yet. Blink goes to that ultimate, and NP have a little bit of loss of damage. They're going to try and blow up by Envy, and they've got him dead, but Blink, he's going to lose his life in return. Pecker down by A. After
14 minutes of game, Wings finally groups up as 5 to take a tower, since they have the golden. Envy gets Moonlight Shadow ready as the healing ward is close to expiring, and pay attention to how NP approaches this fight. They combo Lift into Flame Break into Lasso perfectly, and then Wings plays their hand. Treant may sound kinda bad against Clock and Jugger, but he's the MVP of the rest of this fight. Not only his ult separated the rest of Wings from Shadowfiend, it also negated most of the damage from the Warlock Golem. Not only that, but Lich Seed and Living Armor saves Draw from being killed by Clock. And when a Warlock strat loses a 5-on-5 engagement, spending the Golem, they are definitely going to struggle later on. Not only because the Draw strat can keep pushing and acquiring map control, but because NP's team relies way less in cooldowns. They can take a new engagement, and when that happens, the net worth difference will be way higher, and they get the mid tier 1 tower. Another showing of NP dragging Wings to fight in their turns. Wings had an observer and sentry, and they spot Treant running away. Look at how AUI plays this.
Looks like SVG's been caught. That should be a free kill for Shadow unless AUI and 1437 can stop this one. SVG, it gets a little bit of distance with the overgrowth, but Eyesight...
As Shadowfiend approaches, they have vision with the sentry ward, but he doesn't play too scared or weird. He hits some creeps while disengaging, and they are definitely fine taking this fight. They have vision of Clock with the Observe ward, and all the rest of Wings is farming the lane. But not only that, even with this information, he retreats even more with his team around, securing a ridiculously easy kill. And they get another tower because of that. And with all of that, even considering Wings had a better laning phase than NP, at least farming wise, they couldn't turn that advantage in map control and reliable gold. NP has 8k gold advantage at this point, which is expected considering the situation, but is mainly due to NP taking fights even when they were not optimal to defend towers, while at the same time taking towers after good engagements. I've been talking a lot about NP until now, but to me, one of the key reasons Wings didn't lost this game is how they dealt with the gem pickup of NP. To be honest, this first ward was not placed after the gem pickup, but it was placed after Wings knew they were behind and with little map control. So they expected that soon NP will try to take one step further and control their jungle. When Treant goes in front to scout for wards, they can see it and they smoke under Wings' vision. And check what happens now. It doesn't matter how many TPs NP have. There were 3 heroes in Wings' jungle just a few seconds ago. I'm also pretty sure NP didn't know about Lion's Blink Dagger, and all these little things give them the strength to balance the scales a little bit. Envy gets exploded right in the beginning of the fight. AUI gets hook-shotted, and even with a beautiful gust and living armor he dies. He actually tried to force Envy and also dies because he doesn't have the cooldown. It's crazy how so many little things can completely change the expected outcome of a battle in Dota.
Just may be victims to the Wings push out as they get behind the tier 1 tower and claim both of those cores. NP not in a position to do anything to turn things around. Worst case scenario there for
Just a little bit later, NP finds their demise and dewards it. When I was watching the game for the first time, it felt kinda weird to me that NP went for Roshan even after Clock scouting the Roshan pit with Rocket. Considering they lost the last fight, Warlock still had ult and etc. On second thought though, they had a sneaky and really unexpected ward in the top lane that scouted Lion going top. You can even see AUI force staffing towards Roshan as soon as Lion gets revealed by the ward. I don't really know how deep pro players go in analyzing stuff during the game, but maybe they also saw the Juggernaut illusions with close to no mana, and maybe a combination of some of these factors was enough for them to risk going Roshan, even though Wings was aware of it from the start. All of that coupled with the fact they had vision of Clock during this, allowed Treant not only to block the hookshot, but kill the robot man.
Hero since it's invis.
Make sure there's no opportunity for Nate to steal. That's SVG with the invis play. Managed to block out the hook shot.
Jugger gets very unlucky with Omnislash. Rubik steals it, giving NP another kill. All of this forced Warlock and Shadowfiend to ult without getting any kills.
This mark, he goes for Shadow. Unable to get the sound out in time, but a stolen Omnislash. And 1437 brings one down almost by himself. Finger of death and an ultimate drop by the SF, even Warlock ultimate. And he's somehow still alive. He makes it to the back lines. And NP do not drop a hero.
Going back to the wards Wings used, this one close to the mid lane can be considered by anyone as a suboptimal ward. But you can be damn sure that any vision is better than no vision. And since Treant wasn't around, they can't deward it. NP goes in for a high ground push, and it really baffled me that Wings decided to give the barracks up. I would understand it if they at least traded it for a tier 1 bottom tower since Shadowfiend was there, but he ends up coming back and they never really engage it. As AUI was about to destroy the barracks, Envy leaps to give him the move speed bonus and they safely get out.
NP will not connect with anything. Good deny from our Shadow. Whoa! Force stab, aggressive force stab, and push the AUI into the cogs. They're trying to hold on to the hook shot, but a quick force stab out from AUI, and he'll actually take...
Wings does 2 cool little things I want to point out. They rocket the bottom tier 1 tower to see if someone is TPing there. That could give them a chance to take a fight they can actually win. Since they are also afraid of the Moonlight Shadow re-engage, they plant a ward and sentry in the high ground. While it can be easily rewarded, if they can use it to take a good fight, it's more than worth it. A lot of players feel like warding when the enemy team has gem is useless since they can be taken down, but that's not entirely true. Plays like that can actually make them lose the gem, especially because teams that are winning tend to play more recklessly. A cool little play that happens just a little bit after is AUI trying to solo kill Clock. Faith Beyond forced Stephus through the trees, but doesn't TP immediately. By walking just a tad, he makes the kill way harder for AOI. He survives because of the raindrops, but also because when he's closer to Clock, he loses 80 agility. Clock will still live without raindrops, and even though I liked the Ethereal Blade pickup, the loss of agility is a downside when using it offensively, especially when you're against a Clock. Envy makes great use of their Observe Ward in this cliff. He preemptly ults when he sees Wings coming in, and he gets a quick snipe.
Magic damage block.
Eternal Envy. Using the Moonlight Shadow, will run his
get that
eyes here, looks for the quick nuke. Oh, there it is, but he's already been caught by the Hex. And
The fight evolves though, and you can clearly see what NP's plan is here. They want to take Warlock down early, and the easiest way is gusting him, and then going for the juggler. When AOI throws the first gust, he misses it, and they don't commit.
against living armor.
Jug in a good spot though. He's gonna go for the Omni.
But unfortunately, when he manages to land it, he actually can't kill Warlock, because SF had BKB and stood close to him.
Blink up in a second, someone's got to get the damage. They can't do it. Rubik, away to safety. Now an arrow comes out. Ooh, almost skinning Shadow there.
Ulti this.
NP, they're feeling confident. They're kind of corralling in. They managed to get the overgrowth to start things.
Envy does kill Warlock before he ults, but since AOI was close to Radiant's base and he ran towards it, he gets blown up as well, since Lion actually respawned.
Shadow, meanwhile the SF lets off the ult, pushing back the rest of NP as they are unable to punish. Dro Ranger gets separated, isolated, and is forced to trade his life.
Rubik plays this pretty well. Everyone is missing from the map with the exception of Shadowfiend, while bottom is relatively pushed, so it's natural to stay hidden until you know what's going on. When Wings go in after the smoke broke, they even cast Dust before blinking because they thought Mirana was ulted, but unfortunately for Wings, Rubik actually blinks out, and since Ice mistimed the Earth Spike, they kill Clock before he was able to hookshot. And I feel like Shadow was very greedy here. He tries to take the tower while spinning.
Hog's dead, but he always going to be slowed down by SVG as well. The nuke comes out, Overgrowth holding him in place, NP keeping their distance, will be able to nuke him from afar, and now they...
But things get even worse. Envy lands a beautiful arrow and they take the tier 3, but retreat after 2 buybacks were spent.
Warlock, it's only going to be our SF and Alliant who seem to survive through this team fight. The arrow, oh! It got him. Eternal Envy nails him just before.
The initiation changed everything in that fight. NP was able to punish so many heroes. SF still up with his ultimate. Jug.
That also gives them Roshan, and they go for a bottom Rex push.
He died real fast despite being magic immune. The physical damage from Drow Aura is really paying off.
So I mean, after all of that, it's pretty hard to believe Wings could have won the game, right? It feels like Wings had a lot of bad luck this game, but I guess it was counterbalanced since they won. Shadowfiend goes invis, no detection, perfect placement, but Lion actually jumps in to stun AOI, and that gives him time to force staff, completely wasting the ult, but Rubik steals Requiem of Souls. While they siege, check this cool idea from Envy. He arrows the tower to give AOI vision to keep attacking, since backdoor defense is not up yet. Not only that, but since the arrow didn't reveal anyone, he blinks in and leaps out to maybe break a smoke from Wings while at the same time giving AOI more attack speed. Pretty cool. Ice, in a way, saves the fight for Wings. The first relevant thing to note here is that when Jugger goes in with Diffusal, he baits AOI's Hurricane Pike.
BKB on Blink until maybe even he buys back here. There's the combo going through.
When Lion goes in, since he used Earth Spike on the ground, he also stuns Rubik, and this is very important. Normally, with Eggs, it would be pretty easy for him to steal the Golem, but since he's stunned, Warlock ults and casually walks to use Fatal Bonds. AOI can't force Envy, and since he doesn't have buyback, the fight gets pretty hard for NP and Wings holds. They get a pretty good pick off on Shadowfiend and they go for high ground again.
SF1, NP's planning ahead.
There it is, MSS managed to get the lasso onto Blink, pulling it back straight into the arrow. The extra bit of nuke damage, and Blink...
A fight happens in the bottom lane while Envy split pushes. Shadowfiend is forced to buy back, and in my opinion, the reason NP loses this game happens now. Envy going for the top lane of Barracks was, with no shadow of a doubt, a good decision. See what I did there? He takes the Barracks with no reaction. The first unfortunate decision was stealing and using Cog's close to Treant. Warlock obviously ults on top of that, allowing Jugger to get a good Omni Slash, exploding Treant and Rubik.
Finishing him off, but it's not quite enough, and it will. A little bit more tick damage, but a big chaotic offering. The buyback's out for the SF, but they need so much more.
Up from this point, they were still good though, trading 2 supports for buybacks, Jug and Warlock ult and a lane of barracks, completely worth it. The bad call was keep fighting. Envy had no mana and no BKB since he used the BKB to get the lane of barracks. AY has no HP and no BKB. And yes, I understand that if you kill SF now, he doesn't have buyback and it's probably game, but being so far ahead in net worth while also having so many towers up this late into the game can create huge net worth swings, and that's exactly what happens. They force Treant to buy back while also losing gem and forcing him to buy another one, so that's a pretty hefty loss. It's time for NP to have bad luck now. Jugger goes for the tier 1 bottom, Envy and Rubik combo this perfectly, but Clock with a beautiful hookshot into Force Staff saves Shadow.
I was going to congratulate them on their second tower of the game, but that's not going to happen. Telekinesis straight to the arrow, and they pounce. NP almost take out the Juggernaut. 1437 almost had him with the spin. They need a little bit of damage, but they can't quite fight him. SVG, he's looking forward. They blink forward. They're actually going to run into Clockwork. They managed to get him. Manta goes down.
They glimmer Juggernaut, forcing Treant to go forward. He loses another gem while also killing Mirana. Ridiculously unfortunate. The thing with this game is that Juggernaut is too big now. I don't feel like Ethereal Blade was a bad choice for the style of play NP was going for, because they were choking Wings as best as they possibly could. Juggernaut was pretty farmed considering how far behind Wings were, but throughout the entire game they were always able to burst him with Lasso for instance. But now that he's actually leading the net worth charts after that unfortunate turn of events, they can't kill him anymore. So yes, if you consider that there was the possibility of this mess happening, Ethereal Blade was not a good item. But I don't blame the item for their loss itself. I feel like not disengaging after the barracks was the nail in the coffin. That made a lot of things that shouldn't be possible, possible. When they go for a smoke play in Wings base, they don't manage to kill Juggernaut during Lasso, since Lion isolated AOI in the beginning. NP probably went for that play because Clock didn't have a TP, but now that things didn't turn out as they expected, him not having a TP works against them. And they lose Treant. Things get really green with this tier 1 tower defense they set up. Batrider has Lasso again, but neither Batrider or AUI have BKB up, and to me this was the second biggest mistake of this game. Yes, they don't want to give map control to Wings because it means they will get Roshan for instance, but I really feel like they could have given up on that tier 1 mid and then contest Roshan or the tier 2 with their BKBs up, since they have like 10 seconds until they are ready. When Bat goes for the Lasso, he gets hexed, AUI gets pushed by the cogs to a pretty unfavorable position, and I really like how Wings approached this engagement. Warlock is an amazing Lasso target, but he wasn't even an option because he only joined the fight way later. The cogs don't allow 1437 to steal the golem, even with Ags, and well, the result is a comeback. Wings gets Roshan even though Envy forces Glyph, and the more than 20k net worth lead that they acquired is now negative. Usually I feel like that play where Envy TP'd in after taking Rex to engage would be okay, but not for the type of strategy they went for. They accomplished what they wanted. They were able to create an artificial lead based on tower and map advantage that made them win fights. But one of the weaknesses of playing like that is that you need to be extremely careful, because having 20k net worth lead when you already lost all of your outer towers is a way bigger deal in advantage than when you have almost all of them up. That combined with the fact that only Drow and Mirana were the big DPS dealers in the team means that on equal net worth they can't take fights against Wings, and that started showing as soon as they slightly lost the grip of the game. Now NP doesn't have buybacks, they have to forfeit Glyph and Barracks.
Those tier 3 towers and the melee racks is about to fall as well. Glyph is down. That momentary pause doesn't do much to stop Wings. They've already taken the melee racks and do a bit of damage.
This time Clock starts on Rubik, allowing Warlock to ult very aggressively. This was actually the story of this game. I don't think I ever saw a team play around a Rubik with eggs so well like Wings did. 1437 wasn't able to steal the golem once during the entire game. Sometimes he would come late to the fight to use the ult, sometimes he would abuse the cooldown on spell steal, sometimes clock started on him, or he was zoned by the cogs. Anyways, NP ends up losing. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. I will make a video about game 2. I feel like talking about the whole series in one video would be too much, and I can't understate how this video wouldn't ever be possible without the huge help from the Pugna guys, so please show them some love. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe to it. I'm making videos like this almost every day, and I'm sure something here will spark your interest. Void gets closer, check how he clicks to the right side, and now he can right click Void without drawing aggro. As he stuns, he already runs towards the path that Void wants to run away, while at the same time further away from the creeps to keep attacking. Since Naga also didn't learn her skill point, when Pudge goes in to use Rot, even after Void uses Time Walk, she can secure the kill with the net.